we're going to talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Given as this is the third installment in the Ant-Man franchise, do you like where the story is right now?
Yes. Basically, like, save the world from Thanos, or with the Avengers. They're allowed to go back to their normal lives, and Scott Lang meant to be a better father. Wasp and Pin and Janet are now like a part of it. And now they are like continuing about the quantum realm, previous to. If you know anything about Ant-Man from the comics, the quantum realm is similar like a different universe, pretty much like the Phantom Zone, but a complete quantum universe.
You wrote a review for the second installment, Ant-Man and the Wasp, back in 2018, and you said it was a bit silly, and I think because it was a sequel, you know, we weren't expecting much, but this new film is going to be the beginning of Phase 5 for the MCU.
Yeah, surprise or not, they got Bill Murray in it for some.
Indeed. If this is setting up Phase 5, does it make this movie a big deal?
Instead of like it just being like a real world like heist movie, which what the previous two films were. This one is like on a bigger scale than compared to the previous two, which is like in another world, which they're probably like stuck in another universe, like Janet was.
I've read, Ryan, that the director, Peyton Reed, who's the guy that's done the previous two as well, said that he wanted this one to be a big story. He didn't want it to be a palate cleanser between the big adventures.
Well, yeah, of course, you've got still the one from the previous films, like Michael Douglas and him, Michelle Piper's Janet, you got her little sister, Leah Lily, I call her, and Paul Rudd is Scott Lang. Also give focus to the Scott Lang some door in the film, setting up Young Avengers.
So she is one of the new breed.
Yeah, like younger.
Like with Kamala Khan, she's one of the Marvel's potential. So this could be starting her sort of career in the Marvel.
Yeah, probably setting up possibilities for the rest of Phase 5. New Avengers film and Dynasty, because you see in the trailer the villain is Kang the Conqueror.
So Jonathan Majors, who's playing Kang, and he was in episodes of Loki as well, I understand.
Yeah, the finale, yeah.
And it's all been setting up this Phase 5 thing. I like Jonathan Majors. He's a very good actor. I hope he makes a good bad guy. In a sense, he's got to fill the shoes of Thanos, potentially, if he's kind of bad guy. We'll wait and see how that pans out. An interesting tidbit here, Ryan. The writer for this film, Jeff Loveness, previously worked on Rick and Morty. And so that's one of my ins for this. Watching the trailer, it really reminds me of Rick and Morty, where you can just go anywhere and explore anything.
Well, in that case, yeah.
Yeah, I get the feeling that he wants to make it funny, but also kind of scientifically plausible. And it'd be interesting to see what all the special effects look like. Another interesting tidbit, Ryan, MODOK will be appearing in this film.
Yeah, I did see that, but yeah.
Yeah, so because it's the quantum realm, anything goes. Do you think he will end up being a good guy or a bad guy?
Either way, see for that one.
Because he's kind of silly, but he is a bad guy. And you wonder...
Yeah, like you said silly, because he's like one of the most silliest characters, which it does get a bit of a highlight, stop motion animated show.
Yeah, and that's what people will know him from. So we don't know what actor is playing him.
Popping up in like other forms of media, which is either animation or video games.
But we haven't seen what he'll look like in this new film, I don't think.
No, either just a guy with a massive big head.
I mean, we'll see.
That's what everybody knows him for. He's just a guy with a big head with a small body.
Presumably, he's got a big brain and he could have lots of evil, dastardly plans. But we've already got Kang as the bad guy. Do you feel like these films suffer from having too many characters?
When you actually read the comics, I think it doesn't matter. Or too many villains in there.
My feeling about that is when you're reading a comic, you can take it in at your own time. But when you're being played a movie, it's all flashing past you and you've got to take it all in. So it'll be interesting to read your review about this film when it's done, about whether all the characters made sense or if some were just shoehorned in there because of this whole Phase 5 thing.
Or maybe Murdoch is just sent to the Quantumania like an old photo of Hank Pym from years ago.
I like the idea that this has the quantum realm as the setting, because the 2 previous films were in San Francisco, but this one is in the quantum realm.
The second one was so forgettable, I can't remember it that much.
Do you think the character has had a rebound because of being in Endgame and all the other storylines? Has that helped Ant-Man?
I think the character, he's more like a supporting character set into the confines of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But in this new one, he's like the main star of his film.
Does the MCU have a main character or main plot any longer? Or is it all... Because you've had the horror film with the werewolf, you've had MODOK and these weird characters. It does feel like they're all going to end up fighting in some big battle in about 10 years' time from now.
Well, probably, yeah, if they judge it as it boiled together in alignment. Phase 1 all the way to Endgame.
Yeah.
I mean, all the dots are like a line.
Yeah, I can't tell if that was always the plan or if it just worked out that way. Like, do they plan 10 years ahead, do you think?
Yes, definitely.
All right, okay. So this is MCU's first release of 2023. So I read a thing that said the Marvels and Ant-Man and the Wasp were both being made at the same time. And they were going to release the Marvels first, but because Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania was further along in production, that's why it's being released now.
I could really care less which one comes out before. To me, like, I always have for anything Marvel, really.
What interests me is that they all tie together. So, you know, it matters
to
them.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
They do come out close to each other. So the Ant-Man wasn't supposed to be the trendsetter for the Phase 5, but it is now. So again, lots resting on its shoulders. I look forward to hearing what you have to say about it after you've watched it.
And I think I heard somebody said what might happen. You've probably seen in a trailer when they like Ant-Man and Carol are fighting each other. When they say like, we don't have to win, some of us had to lose. Possibly be like, neither man win or lost. One of them will probably be soon dead. The other ones will scarred. And will probably be stuck in a quantum realm by the end of the film. And her daughter and Hank and Janet and everyone else, they're free. And probably her daughter will end up in a nervous breakdown. Basically be like the new father figures in her parents for Scott's daughter. And they probably might just take her to a facility with similar abilities like her. And that's where you get like Kate Bishop and Kamala Khan and all those people might first meet each other. It's probably for a Young Avengers project. Who knows?
Well, that sounds really thought through, Ryan. It sounds like you've got a really good idea as to how MCU...
Yeah, that's why I read so many Marvel comics. I learned my use a thing called imagination.
Yeah, it does help to remind me, Ryan, that you've got the comics as a reference. We know where the stories might go because you've read the actual source material. I forget that. I forget that these aren't original characters, that they do have comic book plot lines.
Oh, comic book tie into each other, yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know if this quantum realm stuff was much explored in the comics. Like I say, I like the idea that Rick and Morty writers are involved because they've had a lot of fun ideas with science fiction. You could just break the rules down and go anywhere when it's special effects movies. So I hope, Brian, that it's a fun ride. I hope the special effects are amazing.
And probably set up a lot for Phase 5.
And I'm guessing, Ryan, that none of the major characters face oblivion. Like you said that someone might get stuck at the end of the movie, but probably in this film, no one's going to die. There isn't going to be any death of major characters.
Well, probably Disney won't. Like, probably say, no.
As long as they have mild threat, you know, as long as we feel like they're in some danger, because otherwise it's a bit of a boring watch.
That Murdoch thing probably might be just cut out from the film entirely.
Interesting. It might be they didn't have room for him.
Yeah.
That's enough for Ant-Man, Ryan.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.